Hey.
Howdy.
So Big Brother, hashtag BB20. What's going on? What's crack-a-lacking, guys? I feel like I don't talk to either of you guys. I'm on a totally different schedule than the rest of the world. At least, sorry, I'm on a different schedule than the rest of my friend group because everyone else is night. Y'all rock the night shifts. So
we're the night shift. That's what it is.
Literally, yeah.
So Garrett, how's it been going? How's it been hanging?
It's been good. I've been working a lot lately. You know, I don't know. It's just like I've had more days off in weird places, but it just comes down to timing of stuff, and I'm exhausted. Some days I slept from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. yesterday. It was awful.
Hell yeah. Okay, Charlie, have you been? I know that this week's been a little boring as far as live feeds. So what have you been doing to occupy your time other than feeds, Charlie?
Just the classic gaming and watching wrestling, really. Hey, Funky Monkey, welcome.
Yeah, Funky Monkey, and we'll talk about HOH competition as it goes. We got the live stream on in the background. Who knows if we'll actually see any of the competition right now? But for anyone popping in asking if you're on West Coast and you just want to know who won HOH, we didn't know as the episode went off the air, so we're not sure. The only thing we really know is that Janelle robbed, and Kaysar was looking good. That's all we know. As we went off air, I think the only confirmed person through to the next round was Kaysar. We'll talk about it though. We'll circle.
Yeah, that would be what the season needs right now.
Cleansing.
That would be yeah. So we'll circle back around to that. But let's get started with the episode. This week has been as professional gamers call chalk. It was put Janelle and Kaysar up. And then we'll talk about it as it happens. They put Janelle and Kaysar up. That was the easy thing to do. We talked about it last week. That was the easy thing for Tyler to do, and it was too early. Even though Tyler's a good game player, and I think he knows that there are bigger targets in the house, it was going to be stupid for Tyler to put up anyone other than those two. And the house decided to vote Janelle out, thinking that she's a stronger game player, which is true. Although, as we saw in her post-eviction speech with Julie, or not speech, but interview with Julie, it doesn't look like Kaysar has much of a read on the house either, so he's a bit doomed. However, and Garrett, I'll throw this to you. We had an interesting conversation before we talk about the eviction, where David made a complete rookie move, and they called it a rookie move, which I'm glad CBS called him out on it. David absolutely does not have a read on the house, and he got pressured by Bailey to talk to Davon, and he kind of, under the pressure of both of those, ratted out Tyler when Tyler was telling him that Davon was trying to flip the votes. And so now Tyler can't play in this HOH. We know Tyler is going to be eligible to be put on the block this week, and there's no safety suite. So how worried are you if you're Tyler?
I mean, if I'm Tyler right now, I am like code red, abort mission, abandon all ships, which is, I think, a ban. But anyway, but anyway, word puns aside, I would be so worried. I would be trying to get good with all the people that I think I'm good with, and I don't disagree with his mentality of just kind of completely just being done with David at this point, because that was I've never seen anything like that. And any of this stuff, you're supposed to be an all-star. You're not supposed to be making mistakes like that. I'm sorry. Even if you are a rookie coming in from last season just trying to get some redemption, you got to be able to make smarter moves than that. And I would be so worried. I would be making alliances with everybody, which you kind of already. So
It definitely is. And Jacob, we will definitely come back to that later, I promise, because that's going to be a big talking point. First, Charlie, do you think Damien is correct saying taking out Jacer, Janelle and Kaysar? Do you think that was dumb, or do you think it had to be done?
It's a tricky spot for Tyler. I think he could have figured out that they probably would have never worked with him anyways. So in Tyler's eyes, it's probably not. But Janelle is always going to be a bigger target than him. So there's two options. He did the safe move. He still got his entire alliances back. So Tyler he's just got to what's the proper word here? Just kind of re-cooperate this next week or two.
He has to do some damage control with a couple people, and then just lay low. Tyler needs to basically do nothing for the next couple weeks. Which, if you're doing nothing and it's strategic, that's fine. There's a difference between what Ian is doing right now and what Christmas is doing right now. They're two totally different game moves.
Yeah.
Because Ian came into the house as one of the only two winners, which, by the way, they're still here after 3 weeks, which if I was a betting man, I would have said that one of them at least would have been gone in the first 3 weeks, let alone I would have probably voted for two. Because if I was in the house, I'd be like, dude, you already won. Like, I'd be voting them out right away. That seemed like the easy move to me. But yeah, so let's flip forward to the eviction. It got a little interesting there with the second vote. Danny voted to evict Kaysar, which everyone was like, well, she'd be the last person. At some point today, Danny and was it Enzo? Was it Enzo that was second vote? Yeah, Danny and Enzo must have gotten together to go rogue. And it seems like the play right now, as Jacob says, it seems the play – at least what it looks like is that Enzo and Danny, because they are wary of Davon and Bailey and they don't trust Davon within their alliance, they voted to evict Kaysar in order to pin those two votes on Bay and Day and make Tyler and Cody not trust those two. Is that what you see, Garrett, or do you see something different?
I actually had that thought while I was watching the episode. I was like, what is these two votes? What is the point of it? And then it wasn't until Julie was talking to Janelle that I realized that you know what I mean? Like later on, like
when Janelle's
she
first
points out that it doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? Like,
when Julie said, who do you think those two votes were? Janelle, her first guess was Bay and Day. And that's what everyone else in the house's guesses are going to be. And if Danny and Enzo play this off, it's actually a really good game mood. Is it not, Charlie?
Oh, it's smart for them. It just sucks for Bailey. Bailey is playing so good, but she's going to get sucked out by something like this. And it's so unfortunate because, I don't know. She thinks that this alliance is so real with her, but it's not. And it's tough, man. It's tough to watch because Bailey is she's playing so well again, just like last time. In 20, she did so good. Then she got HOH and her game blew up. But this time it's a little different. She's playing really good. She's really level-headed right now. But this alliance, they're using them. And it sucks to see. I hope they figure it out. Maybe David, accidentally being a horrible game player, might have actually turned Davon and Bailey up a notch. They may be like, you know what? Maybe we need to back up. Maybe we're not as safe as we thought we were. Maybe we need to win HOH and put Cody and Tyler on the block instead of going to Cody for permission on who to vote out. That was absolutely ridiculous in this episode. We should talk about that.
Yeah. Well, go ahead, Charlie. Allude on it.
The season right now, Cody he's chilling. Mm-hmm. Look, I don't care for him, but you got to respect. He's covered everywhere. And there's always, if someone wins HOH, he's going to be a target. But that's usually how it is if you're really good. In Tyler and 20, if Haley won HOH, he's probably got to watch out. He got put up still. It's one of those things,
Yeah, but when you've got Janelle going to people asking for votes, and you've got 3 or 4 people all saying that she would need to convince Cody for them to vote for her to stay, that's a problem. People aren't thinking for themselves.
They're going to Cody for permission. I mean, that's aggravating to watch. I even had to put out a tweet about it, and people were liking it, so I'm thinking others were agreeing. It's like, that's frustrating to see. This is All-Stars, man. Why are we going to Cody for permission? And that's not ringing in anybody's heads. And the reason it isn't is because of these pregame alliances that we keep going back to. They're not worried about it because they know that they're good with Cody. They were in Zoom calls for 2 months with the guy before the show. They fully trust him.
No, I agree.
It's tough.
Yeah, and there's so many people that are on the outs, and it seems like they want to work with each other. But you've got Christmas, for example, who's hanging out. She's fine. She'll be the easy person to pick off final 6. She'll finish in 6th place, and she'll think that she's a great game player, and that's just what it is. She'll be an easy casualty of a double eviction or something. But Garrett, when you look at the other side of this house, and you've got Ian, and you've got now David, who is completely on the outs, and nobody trusts David, so someone's going to have to scoop him up. And you have an Enzo who's kind of okay with everybody right now, but he could.
Yeah, no one's still talking about him.
Yeah, it's so weird that Enzo is capable of winning comps. I think we'll just see a week where he has to align. Do you see these people coming together, or do you think that all these people are just going to be either picked off one by one or creating sub alliances with others? You know, could we see a Danny scoop up an Enzo and see a Tyler scoop up an Ian and see a Cody scoop up I don't even know. It feels like there's so many people in this game that aren't even playing right now. Could we see something like that, or do you think just going to go one by one? We're going to get some more boring television, Garrett?
I think probably till about roughly the halfway point of the show, we'll probably have a lot of that, unfortunately, just because of the way it's going right now, and no one wants to like ruffle any feathers. That's literally what everyone's saying every week. Guys, you're an all-stars. You ruffled all the feathers to get here. You have ruffled all the feathers. Your feathers were ruffled when you walked in the door. They know who you are.
Right.
Sorry,
it's your
I'm
second,
upset,
third.
like, it's really frustrating. Like, back to what Charlie was saying earlier. This is regular season stuff where there's one person in control of everything. All of these people were either that person or aligned with that person in their seasons. This is weird that this is happening in the season. So I think it's going to be really boring until about halfway through. Then when the actual people that wanted to be toward the end start playing, maybe we'll see a bloodbath, or maybe they'll just have some order in their head that they wanted people to win. I have no idea. It's really up in the air. They could have an order in their head for how the rest of this game goes, and they probably have the means to do it.
It is never too late. VDRTS.
Never too late.
But you know what I mean? It's just like it's getting frustrating at this point, watching them just do what they want.
Well, this and show desperately needs like a Kaysar HOH right now.
Yeah, and
if
what
Kaysar wins, he might be able to flip people.
Well, and here's the thing. All the people that are the competition favorites going into the year, if you said who are going to be the people that are going to be the favorites to win comps, they're all aligned with each other right now. Yeah. And that's what makes it dangerous.
Steamrolling the house.
You don't see it split. And that's a very new school way of thinking of the people saying, all right, let's just get all the people that are going to win comps together, pick off all the weak people / floaters, and then we'll kind of duke it out near the end. But then that makes it so that we really only get 6 or 7 weeks of really good television, and the first few weeks are boring, and that's what we're seeing.
And it ends up being people you don't even care about, like last year.
And so this is why it could be interesting, because I think if there's anybody that could turn the season around without getting an HOH, I think right now it could be Davon, because Davon is realizing that she's not as good with a lot of people as she thinks she is. And if she can convince Bailey, hey, we can't trust Cody, we can't trust Tyler, we got to stop trusting them, and they end up hooking in all those other people that I was talking about, the Ians and the Enzos, if they and the Davids, they can get David back on their side, because David is going to be – give it 2 weeks, and he is going to be begging to have a friend in the house, because he's isolated everyone else, and that's what we can get. And Kevin's another one. Why wouldn't Davon scoop up Kevin?
They have to. Funky Monkey makes a point. What if David wins tonight? What the hell is that gonna? I honestly think if David wins, he's gonna put up Kevin and Kaysar.
Come on, man. Devin,
to be honest, David sucks at competitions.
Oh, he's horrible.
He's no good at competitions. His social game is horrible. Like, what did they see in him?
I mean, we constantly remember how
in this guy who wasn't even a fan, who's terrible at the game. I don't know what they saw in this guy. I was a fan of the guy last season because we didn't get to see what he could be. Apparently, that was the right move.
Yeah, I mean, all it really was last year is just he came back into the house and instantly was able to get a read on the house. And it turns out that people thought that was him being a good game player, when in reality, I think he just got lucky last year with his read of the house. And so that stinks.
It's hard, man.
It is what it is. I just think that David is – we talked about this last week a little bit. He has this false sense of cockiness to where he thinks he has it all figured out. And he finally realized this week in that conversation with Bailey and Davon, and then later on with Tyler, he realized, oh, crap, I do not know anything in this house. I think the thing that worried me the most about this episode was Janelle realizing how much Kaysar was going to sink. If Kaysar doesn't win this HOH, he's basically screwed, because as Janelle said, both of them, the person that they trusted more than anybody else in the house was Memphis. And now she knows that Memphis is probably the reason why she went home because Janelle told Memphis that she had it figured out. She listed everyone in that alliance other than Memphis. And it just so happens that her confiding in him buried her and got her sent home. So, so the live feeds are still not up. If I had to guess, everyone, in case people are hopping in wondering if we're talking about who won HOH, this will probably be the case where they'll flip the live feeds on after the West Coast show. And I know that we're not going to stay live for another 3 hours waiting for that to happen.
No. Yeah.
And so it's kind of, sometimes they do this. They don't flip on the feed so that you can watch the competition. This makes it so that the West Coast fans can actually enjoy it if they don't use a VPN and watch the live show when we watch it.
Yeah.
God, my team looks terrible. Oh my God, I'm going to get crushed. This is bad.
Yeah, well, wow. Definitely in competitions, you're not looking good. But Danny and Bailey, they could go far if the game goes their way. I don't see it going well for David. Garrett's still no one evicted. But hey, that can always change on a dime.
Yeah, if we're talking about the favorite to go home next week, it looks like it would be an even split. You know, Garrett with Kaysar going home. Who out of these people? Charlie, right now, if you had to put your money, and it can be any of the teams, or you can, be a homer and make sure you pick someone from your team. Who do you think right now is set up to not to win, but let's say final three? Who is the best? I'm
still Enzo. I really think Enzo is still in the best spot in this house. That was why if I had the first pick, I would have taken Enzo first, because in Big Brother 12, I realized that he is so likable. No one has his name in their mouth yet, and this is going to be the fourth eviction. He's not going home this week. He could be a pawn, but Enzo is not going home anytime soon.
Garrett, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
I was saying he's already built structures outside of his own little core with Cody, Tyler, and Danny. So.
Oh, I agree. Garrett, same question. Who do you think's the favorite to make the final three?
I think unless everything blows up on him, Cody's in a really good position right now.
Yeah,
that's not just because he's on my team. I think he's literally running the house right now, and it won't last probably, but he is right now. I mean, you can't deny it. He really is. He's got people that he has to align with
for permission, man. He's in a great spot.
Yeah, I mean, oof.
I think personally, the best person right now would probably be Memphis. He's on Team Viewers. I just think Memphis knows
recover a little bit this week.
Yeah, Memphis is in good with the old school and new school people. He's going to be someone where, let's say, Bailey and Davon do split from that alliance a little bit. I think that they would keep Memphis in the loop a little bit because they would be going against Danny, Tyler, and Cody. If they went against it, it would be those three people that they don't trust. And if they bring in Kaysar and Kaysar is trusting Memphis, all of a sudden Kaysar and Memphis are stuck in the middle. And then you've got one side, but looking at these names right now, I mean, why couldn't going back to it? Why couldn't David, Danny, Bailey, Ian, Kaysar, Davon, and Memphis? Why couldn't and Kevin actually instead of Memphis? Why couldn't the seven of them just be like, screw it?
They can. I think Kaysar would be the only one that could pull them together, though.
Kaysar's such a great
possibility.
He's an excellent speaker too. He could totally pull it off. I think watching the feeds when all that stuff they didn't show went down. You know what I mean?
I think Kaysar's only issue is his vibe is so standoffish.
Oh, definitely. But that's why he needs to convince Bailey, who convinces everyone else. That's kind of his game plan.
I would have to agree with Funky Monkey on this one. Charlie is the best players. Yeah, Charlie's definitely in the definitely.
I liked my draft. Keisha was a bust, but I mean, she got
but that's okay.
She was a casualty. It's all right. It happens.
I really thought Nicole A was going to go far too. So she was one that I thought was a close lock. I kind of went the opposite of Charlie. Charlie picked players that he thought were going to come out and play hard and everywhere. I took the dudes that I thought were going to fly under the radar, but yikes.
Danny's probably.
Meanwhile, on my team, I picked people who I thought were going to be huge, involved in running the house, and they're just all just chilling. Well, Kaysar is just a massive target.
Kaysar is not chilling.
Kaysar's not chilling. Oh, man, my man Kaysar's messing it up with my team, all right? I got to tell you.
The two guys that are The two guys targeting each other, Cody and Kaysar. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
they're there's literally civil war in my team right now.
Question though, are y'all ready for the Kevin and Christmas final two?
The way the season's going, knocking out all the targets, yeah, absolutely. David, Kevin, Christmas, final three.
All right, predictions right now. Y'all better put it in chat. Okay, we're gonna go right down the line. Who's winning HOH tonight? I'm gonna say Kaysar. He looked good and he looks determined. I'm going Kaysar with my pick. Charlie is winning.
Kaysar, it's time. We need to have a good. The season needs to change, man.
Garrett.
Yeah, I feel like if there's any time you ever needed to win an HOH to save your own behind, it's now. I'm going Kaysar, 100%.
Okay, so we're sweeping Kaysar. Funky Monkey wants Kaysar. So hey,
likable,
we're all
man.
rooting for him. It's
He's
all
so
fun and
likable.
games. When the feeds pop up and Cody's HOH again, it's we have nothing to blame but ourselves for picking the wrong person. So
Gotta get those competition points. Let's go.
yeah,
15 for one guy. Let's go.
yeah, I don't agree with the point system. By the way, I don't like this. I like the standard classic system. You get points for when you get eliminated. All these HOHs.
Competition
That's
is something
just separate
completely
tracking.
separate.
That has
Hold
nothing
on,
to do
hold
with
on, hold
winners.
on. Charlie, pull those teams back up. Because I got a problem with this. Charlie picked people that would win competitions, not telling us that that's how the points were going to go.
No, those don't count.
Then-
Those don't affect
And
the.
then after the fact, Charlie instituted this competition point system, so I can't win. I picked people that weren't going to win
It's
competitions.
rigged. We rigged it. We rigged this. It's just like the election. I told
Dumb.
Johnny we were going to rig it.
That's creating rules after the fact. So I hashtag not my rule maker.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
but we're doing
Like,
that. It's just separate
and
tracking just to see
Brady.
who got the most comps and stuff like that. I don't think it affects anything. We could use it like a tiebreak or something like that probably if there was like a
It
tie.
could be a good tiebreaker.
I think that's what it's there for more than anything. It doesn't affect the actual score. Like my score hasn't gone up at all because of my competition points. I still am chilling at 0 over here. But doesn't affect the actual. But it's cool to see who's winning the comps. So like right now I have like 20 competition points, which is like, hey, I'm
You
getting
can
in
also
there.
see that guys have won every competition except for one.
Yeah. So it's like, hey,
Well, they
Rick-
keep voting out the girls, so
Hey man,
3
if I
girls
had to
gone
go-
already.
Who knows? I could end up blanking. My people could go out 4 weeks in a row, and like in the next few weeks, and I mean it's not likely to happen, but it could happen. You know what I mean? Like they could all just be taken out, and then now I'm just done, and then we know I'm not going to win because all my points are accounted for. So. But then
3
I
girls in a row gone
I'd
though.
be like, hey, at least I look at the competition too, and like whatever.
yeah, it's funny that we say that they're getting rid of big targets, but getting rid of the girls and having the guys run the game, that it happens every year. And this year they even put some of the strongest women ever in the game, hoping that they would align with each other. And what's happened? They're all turning against each other. Like, sadly, we could have all predicted.
Remember Nicole Night 1? I'll create a girls' alliance and tell you everything. Tough.
Stupid. Whatever. All right. Go Kaysar.
Yes.
Just for shiggles, I'm hoping who would be the biggest weird oddball HOH winner?
Ian. I'd like
Yeah,
Ian.
Ian would be weird. It'd be interesting to see what he would do though.
Go Ian.
Yep.
But go Christmas. She'll just do whatever Cody wants. All right. Anyway, make sure to like and subscribe. Click that little bell so you know when we go live. And until next time, guys, see ya.
Yeah, too.